the Keystone Sports Network.
And welcome back to the Keystone Kickoff Show. I am Jim Galante with Shaun Gold for more of Shauns Take. This is where we have Shaun take a look at this week's games in the college football world. He picks his winners against the spread. Shaun, week 1 you were 4-1. Week 2 you were 3-2. Another winning week. Overall, 7-3. Not too bad, my friend.
Hey, not too bad, and we need to keep adding to that. That's the biggest thing now, is let's keep on adding to that record. It looks real nice right now. I want it to look real nice a week from now.
Just keep adding on. Just keep adding on. Last week, as we said, you were 3-2. You had Penn State, obviously won. You had Washington at Michigan State. That was a good call. I think that one was wrapped up after about one quarter. LSU really took it to Mississippi State. The two losses, and I got to admit, they both surprises. Tennessee not only didn't cover, but they lost to Florida. Colorado, boy, they barely held on in overtime, and that was as a 23.5-point favorite. Any of those really shock you, Shaun?
Yeah, I was surprised to see how flat Tennessee came out in that game. I thought they had a great opportunity to get a win against Florida and show people that they're for real this year. And that just didn't happen. It was frustrating watching that game because I wanted them to get the momentum going, and they never seemed to have things click. And then for that Colorado State game, obviously I'm upset that we lost that game, but I do have to say that was a fun game to watch. And so if I had to take a loss on the week, I'm okay with it being that game because that game was entertaining. I'm on the East Coast, just like you. I stayed up the whole time for that game. I wanted to go to bed, and I couldn't get my brain to turn off because I wanted to see how this thing ended. And, I'm very glad Colorado won. So even though they didn't cover the spread for me, I'll give it to them. It was one of the most entertaining college football games I've ever watched.
I do remember, though, last week someone saying that, you know what, Colorado had been doing so well, so much momentum those first couple weeks. I afraid there might be a letdown. Who was that? Oh, yeah, that's right. That was me. Anyway, it's not often I get a chance to say I told you so. So when I do, I want to take advantage of it, Shaun. All right, enough with the past. Let's move forward. Let's look at this week's game. Let's start with Iowa at Penn State. It's the whiteout game, and Penn State is a 14.5-point favorite. Pretty good number of points there, Shaun. Are you still ready to take the Nittany Lions?
Well, let's discuss this game. And first things first, I got to say a whiteout is unlike any experience. I was fortunate enough to be at the whiteout game last year, and there is nothing like it. Obviously, I've grown up watching Penn State football. I've seen it on TV. Being there in person at a whiteout, it's a different experience. So I'm excited for Penn State this week. And from this game, to me, this is really going to be a traditional Big Ten game. Penn State, Iowa, they've got the history. We're going to see a lot of good defense. And I think compared to previous weeks, we're going to see a little bit of a slower pace to this game. To me, that's traditional Big Ten football. It's hard-nosed football. You're going to run the ball. You're going to play defense. And it's going to come down to that final quarter when we really see who's going to win this game. So I think it's going to be a competitive game. The past 5 times these two teams have played, each game has been decided by 10 or less points. This year, I do think we see something similar. So I have Penn State winning the game, but I do have Iowa covering the 14.5-point spread.
As a Penn Stater, it's hard for me to bet against them. I understand the logic, but I think Penn State, we talked about this off the air. I don't think Penn State played particularly well against Illinois and still covered the spread. So until they lose against the spread, I'll still be taking the Nittany Lions. We have several interesting games this week, Shaun. Next up, Florida State, Clemson, and Florida State is actually the favorite in this game, a 2.5-point favorite. This might be an indicator of the changing of the guard in the ACC.
Well, this is the biggest game in the ACC. And like you said, we may be seeing a changing of the guard. What I do like about this game is there's a ton on the line for both of these programs. For Florida State, a loss in this game likely means they kiss away their chance at the college football playoff. I'm not convinced they can get in with one loss if they lose this game. For Clemson, this puts them right back on the map. They obviously lost week 1 to Duke. That was a terrible loss for them. If they go in and beat the number 3 team in the country now, hey, they're right back in the conversation of being the Clemson that we've known in past years. So with that being said, though, I really like this Florida State team this year, and I don't think 2.5 points is enough. I think Florida State's going to come in and they're going to make a statement once again. They got a bit scared of Boston College last week. They almost blew their season there. I think they're going to rebound very, very nicely, cover this 2.5 point spread, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them win by a touchdown or more in this game because they know getting a big win here is going to really boost their odds of getting the college football playoffs, and they've been waiting for this season to come, and I think they're ready for it.
You know, Shaun, sometimes I think we outthink ourselves when something just really comes down to, I think Florida State's the better team than Clemson. The traditional Clemson that we know would not have played a game like they did against Duke a few weeks ago. I'm with you on that one, Florida State. I'm going to jump around here a little bit. Let's go to the Southeast Conference from the ACC. Ole Miss at Alabama. And in a way, we could talk about Alabama kind of the same way that we talk about Clemson. Again, is this a changing of the guard? Alabama is still favored by a touchdown against Ole Miss. What do you see going on there?
Well, this is a really interesting game. And to start, I'm happy Alabama's going back to Jalen Milroe as their starting quarterback. I think he gives them the best shot to win. And while he did miss some throws against Texas, his dual threat ability, it adds another element to this Alabama offense. So I think we've definitely had some overreactions about Alabama. And it's not Alabama of a couple years ago, but this is still one of the top programs in the country, and there's no disputing that. Ole Miss, on the other hand, is a very interesting team. They've got a great offense, 12th in the country in total yards. Their QB, Jackson Dart, has been incredible both on the air and through the ground. And perhaps I think the most important thing for him is he only has 1 turnover on the year. So they're taking care of the ball. But we really don't know a lot about this team. I think it's a mystery team, even though they're ranked 15th in the country. Should they be top 10? Should they be 20 or later? We really don't know, and this is a big test for them. So, with that all being said, I'm expecting this game to be a great one. And while I have faith that Nick Saban is going to have his Alabama squad ready for this game, Ole Miss has a realistic shot of outright winning this game. So, I'm at least going to give Ole Miss the +7 against the spread. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but they have a shot to win the game, and I think that means at a minimum, they're going to keep this within a touchdown.
You know, watching the game a few weeks ago, Texas, Alabama, uh, I said the difference in that game, Texas had the better quarterback and the better quarterback play in that game. I was not surprised that Alabama went a different way at quarterback then against South Florida, but boy, I was surprised at how poorly they played. I'm with you. I think they're going back to the correct quarterback, but I'm just not sure this is the old Alabama that we've known for so many years. So I think I'm with you there with Ole Miss. Next up, and Deion Sanders in Colorado, they have become must-see TV, as you mentioned earlier, Shaun. Interesting to me, games at Oregon, and I was guessing maybe a 2-touchdown spread on this, but when it came out, turns out it's a 3-touchdown game, a 21-point spread. Oregon favored over Colorado, although I do have to mention Travis Hunter for Colorado is going to be out for this game.
Yeah, Travis Hunter being out is a massive blow because we have to remember it's like you're losing 2 players right there. Your best offensive and your best defensive player is going to be out for this game, and looking forward to he's probably going to miss the USC game, and that's a big blow for this Colorado team. The other thing is, I know a lot of people are saying this right now. If Colorado had to take Colorado State to double overtime, how are they going to fare against this Oregon Ducks team that's blown everybody out of the water so far? My response to that would be sometimes when you have these rivalry games, it doesn't matter how good one team may be and how bad the other, it's going to be a close game no matter what. So I think Colorado's a much more talented team than Colorado State. But the hype of that game leveled up the competition. So I don't think it's a good indicator of what we're going to see this week. What I do like is we saw how resilient Colorado was last week. That last fourth quarter drive to tie the game up showed a lot of heart and a lot of poise from this Colorado team. And so while Oregon's a really, really good opponent and by far the best team they've played this year, second highest scoring offense in the country, 21 points is a little too much for me. I think Deion Sanders is once again going to have his squad ready to play. And I'm with you. I thought a 14-point spread may be appropriate for this game. 21, I think, is too much. We know Oregon's going to score. Colorado's defense has struggled. But I also think Colorado's going to put up some points in this game. And I think their offense, at least for the most part, is going to hang around with Oregon. So if they can't win this game, I don't think they're losing by 3 touchdowns. I would take Colorado with the spread.
I'm with you on that one also. I'm not sure I can say Colorado winning this game, but I certainly could see them keeping it competitive. And then finally, the last game we have, and this one's really fascinating to me, it's Ohio State at Notre Dame. Ohio State is a 3-point favorite in this one, Shaun.
We have talked about some really good games so far, but this one trumps them all, and I'm excited for this game. More so because we're going to learn so much about both of these programs in this game. Ultimately, we don't know a ton about either team. I personally think Notre Dame is really, really good this year and is a little bit undervalued. This game's in Notre Dame, and I think on Saturday night, we're going to see something special happen in Notre Dame Stadium. So give me Notre Dame with that +3. I think they win this game, but if we're picking the spread, I would take that +3 for Notre Dame. And I think we may see Ohio State fall right now, which would be a surprise to a lot of people, but I'm rolling with Notre Dame here.
Interesting call. I don't want to make a pick on that one, Shaun. All right, there you have it. Shaun's pick. Our Iowa to cover against Penn State, has Florida State against Clemson, Colorado keeping it close against Oregon, Ole Miss over Alabama, and Notre Dame over Ohio State. Very quickly, Shaun, tell our listeners where else they could get more of Shaun's Take.
Yeah, look up Shauns Take on TikTok. We got all our links in there. Our website's under construction right now. That'll be back up soon. But for now, follow me on social media. Join our chalkboard community. The link's in my bio. You can talk about all these games with me in there every single day. So I look forward to seeing you in there.
Very good. Okay, thanks so much, Shaun. Fingers crossed. Let's get another winning week here. Although I'm not so happy with your Penn State Iowa pick, that's okay. I'm still going with the Nittany Lions. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you join us next time on the Keystone Kickoff Show.
Keystone Sports Network.